Hey there guys, rather surprisingly, over Twitter, Yoshi just this night announced FFXIV Mobile, which there was some talk about this possibly happening over the past year or so, but it was more general rumours and illusions of this happening, no actual information that would imply this was going to happen and that we knew what was going on, at least not for those who weren't looking behind the scenes. There is a informational website currently up, and it appears to immediately say that first off, you can sign up for trials and see how that's going, but it will be launching first in China before going to a global release, which I think makes sense. Most people should expect that this is more pushed towards the Asian market. There are a lot of Western users of mobiles and such, but they're, I think, less likely to play RPGs and big games like this. I think the success of Diablo-like games in places like China on mobile really kind of show that is more the audience that this is set towards. But I could see some success in the West as well. Now, it's not being made by FFXIV's actual teams. As far as I can see, it's being made instead by Lightspeed Studios, who recently acquired Itsuno. I don't know whether he and his studio actually would be involved, or if it's just some general kind of work under Lightspeed. There's not really any explanation as to that, at least that I can see on the websites, but it's interesting. I could see this as being Lightspeed kind of taking their time to work more in an RPG variety. It's kind of a safe bet. They have the Square Enix team to refer back to. They have a lot of the assets which they can kind of tweak. They know the game design, they know the story. Really, they just have to get the core elements down. For Square Enix, I think this makes sense. They put a lot of money into mobile titles, and I don't think it should be really a surprise to anyone that arguably their best success in FF14. There are other Final Fantasy games that you might say, oh, they're a much bigger success, but really in terms of pure profits, I think 14 is the biggest success. Trying to put that onto mobile, trying to bring that to younger audiences, younger generations, new people involved in it who aren't going to be PC gamers, who aren't going to play on console, or at least on Sony consoles. Now there's the possibility of Xbox. I think this all makes sense. Will it translate well? Now, this is something that does interest me. I'm not a super optimist on this, but there are elements that are talked about on the website which do kind of make me think this could actually work. For one, as you'll probably see in the video in the background which I'll be playing, it doesn't actually look like this is the Final Fantasy XIV that we know. A lot of the job effects and job abilities just look different. It's the same kind of visual style, but I don't recognise a number of these abilities. I recognise some, but they look visually different. The classes are acting different, and for a start, a lot of the classes that we know and love aren't actually there. It's only a limited set of classes, which implies that they're building them from the ground up, as they should do for mobile. A lot of people don't necessarily enjoy the combat in A Realm Reborn and enjoy going through all of the initial slog of Final Fantasy, so the mobile has a chance to just come at it from a completely new angle, really. I'm not saying they're going to redo the story of A Realm Reborn, and I don't think they should necessarily, but they can, again, once more, cut out some of the chaff, completely rebuild some of the quest lines, and with the classes playing differently, they don't have to have the problem which the MMO currently has of, many levels down the line, you'll only then get your buff, you'll get your gap closer, you'll get certain abilities which make the class fun much later into the game, which lead you to have the boring 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 we all know. This though isn't why I think FFXIV Mobile could work. We know the story of 14 is good, it's always been, it's fun, it's engaging, say what you will about Dawntrail, but Shadowbringers, Endwalker, the general story, it is good, it's fun. But it's not the combat of the story which I think is going to draw people to this. It's the fact that I really think they're billing this as a cozy game. A lot of the features on the website kind of go on about the inheriting the social community of Final Fantasy, talking about how you can decorate your own house, how the Triple Triad game is included, how fishing is included, all of the new decorative armors, and how they're going to faithfully recreate crafting and gathering. But how will they do that? How will they change these aspects for mobile? Because I don't think you can completely do what you do on PC in the game. Instead, maybe they'll make them more mobile orientated, or they'll give you kind of the theme of those classes whilst not necessarily doing all of the farming and gathering that you have to do in the PC game. Will they adapt islands and the kind of general social content which we've enjoyed in Final Fantasy? If, for example, they actually put in instance housing, and the talk of housing in this isn't just you get the ward system that we have in PC, but rather everyone actually gets their own instance house that they can decorate using FFXIV creations, going off and talking to people, inviting people to their houses, then we start to have a very Animal Crossing like game, but with all of the bonuses of the Final Fantasy story and Final Fantasy kind of reputation. Now really, all of this hinges on this not being connected to Final Fantasy Online, and I don't think it will, because of the previous work of FF11 Mobile, which really kind of wore the veneer of the game, but wasn't the game. Talk on this website speaks about this sort of trying to uphold the reputation and the look of the original game, which implies that it is its own game, that it is not a connection to 14, which is how they've described the game on Sony, on Xbox consoles in general. So I think that this will be its own thing, and the way the classes are being implemented slowly, how this is just a Realm Reborn, really to me feels that while some people might want this to be the FFXIV mobile that I can play my character on the PC, but then I need to go out somewhere, so I do a little bit of gathering while I'm waiting in the Uber. Yeah, I don't think that's what they're going for. I think that this is going to end up being a very light version of FF14, a more cozy game with the story that's been very successful, trying to bring that to more broad audiences, to bring more people into Final Fantasy. They want more people buying their games. They want more people looking at 16, looking at 15, looking at FF7 Remake and Rebirth, and bringing more people into Final Fantasy 14 as a franchise. So using 14, the incredibly successful MMO and the meme that you know, as that kind of that general olive branch on mobile, I can see why they want to do this. Moreover, phones have kind of come a long way in these recent years. You might be thinking, how are they going to do raids? How are they going to do dungeons? They talk about you being able to play solo. I think that we've seen a lot of the kind of networking and the idea that they could do this built in 14 already. We have trusts and the scions that you can work with. And the concept of doing a raid on a mobile phone really has existed before. We've seen games be able to do that. I could see them making kind of duty finder raids where you go in and you perform certain mechanics with people who you've queued up with. That to me seems possible. The big question for a lot of people, and I think for most of the community at the moment, is how is this going to be monetized? How are they going to make money with this? Because that is always a problem with mobile, but I don't think it's going to be that different, to be honest, from 14 online. I think they're going to sell you outfits, they're going to sell you hairstyles, they're going to sell you cosmetics, and it won't be that different from what we have. Whether or not they do a subscription, I really would be surprised. I think that honestly they'll probably just go for free to play Final Fantasy. Maybe they'll in some strange way try to sell you an expansion. Not sure how that would work, but I think that they are going to go with just microtransactions as we have seen them in the store already in the PC game, and just maybe a little bit more. Maybe they'll take the way that we currently have the Chinese and Korean outfits coming in. They'll produce certain outfits and certain items which are just for mobile and sell them there. There's talk of people saying that there's going to be pay to win and all this, but they're not going to be selling weapons and armor and that. Sure, there are, as we've seen in the modern MMOs, there are elements of pay to win that they could sell. They could sell faster mounts, which technically the bike mount in 14 already is that. They could sell skips and stuff. We have those. Really, I think it's just going to be the 14 cash shop, again in mobile, with a few little other things to really entice people and bring them in. For now though, that's all I really have to say on the subject. I wanted to kind of give my opinion. I know a lot of people are immediately just like, I'm not going to touch this, I hate this, it's going to be 14 online connected with a mobile phone, oh no. I really don't think it will be that. And if it is, I'll be surprised. I'll definitely do a video on that. I want to talk about it, I want to see how that connects, but I think it's going to be just its own thing, and I really need to see some more information. I want to see how the crafters work, I want to see how gathering works. Do they change things? Do they add new minigames and stuff? I really feel like it's going to be the coziest handheld form of 14 that we've had. But we'll see. That's all for now, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'm sorry this has been a while since my last video. I've been really unwell. Hopefully it doesn't show too much of my voice in this video, but more content coming soon, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye for now.